Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach. Don't touch that dial. You want to become financially independent? You want to have consumer debt freedom? You want to have passive income, learn how to build a business, acquire real estate, and achieve the lifestyle you deserve in 2021? Well, hit that link below right now. We've worked with over 20,000 people in the past 2 decades, helping them become consumer debt free, increase their credit scores by 30 to 60 points in 30 days or less, and help them acquire businesses through real estate, taxes, and a network of experts just like me. So you'll get a complete 3-hour, 18-module course called Family Finance 101 that'll teach you A to Z how to become consumer debt free, credit worthy, and it put you in position to become a certified entrepreneur. We'll also give you a complimentary consultation with me that's a $500 value. Why would you want to do that? Because I have already achieved that, and I can help you achieve your American dream in 2021. Hit the link below, get the free webinar and the complimentary consultation, and I'll see you soon and wish you a pom-pom lifestyle that's clean in money and peace of mind. Come join us.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth, it's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase. Now, let's start the show. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bet on Black, the women, the family, the legacy, brought to you by the 7 Spheres of Money. Thank you for joining us. And before we get started, make sure you like the video, share it, and subscribe to the 7 Spheres of Money on YouTube. So we have a full house tonight, and we have a new person joining the panel, Miss Onedia Gage, and we will introduce her in just a moment. But before we do that, how's everyone doing this evening?
Awesome. All is well. All is well.
Great, great. We had an amazing conversation, last week about sports, with Astoria and Tonia, and then Stacia joined in for the conversation about mental health and self-care and women doing things on their own, a number of topics. So what did you all think of that conversation last week?
I think it was good, but I think since Anita wasn't on, she should give her, 2 cents, or maybe we should let her introduce herself and give her 2 cents. I'm not sure. However that should work out.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to get to know Anita first, because Anita knows you all, from watching the first episodes, but you all don't know Anita. I mean, you did have, some interaction before we started recording, but we're going to get into Anita's full story. So why don't we just go ahead and jump in, so we don't take up too much time. So Anita, this, as you know, this show hosted by the women, led by the women here. It's the purpose is to share your experiences, share your wisdom. So what can the audience expect to learn from hearing your experiences and hearing your story?
Well, one of the things that they can count on for sure as the audience is it's going to be direct. There will not be any, I don't understand what she meant, and let me go get the backstory for what she's meant, and she's saying something she's not really saying, so that won't be it. Definitely straight to the point, live and direct. Secondly, I think that giving out my wisdom and information, things I know, things I've experienced, nuggets that I've learned is something I give freely and willingly. So that's definitely something that will happen. As well as, really, I'm an encourager, I'm a giver. So I'm always coaching and helping people get from A to B or A to Z, however it is that far they would like to go. So I'm very transparent about my experiences and what has brought me from my own A to Z or my own A to whatever number I'm on, letter I'm on. So that's where I am with that. So I think that they'll learn something. I'll learn a lot. So yeah.
Great. So so let's go ahead and jump into into the beginning of your story. So who is Onedia Gage, and what does Onedia Gage do, and how did she get here? So let's go back to the beginning, or wherever you would like to start, and bring us up to speed to who is Onedia Gage now. And then of course, ladies, Tonia, Stacia, Astoria, feel free to chime in and ask any questions, or if anything stands out to you, like, oh, don't be afraid to shout it out. This is a conversation, laid back, casual conversation we're having here tonight.
Okay. I will start with the highest compliment I've ever had. Well, the second highest, I should say. The second highest compliment I've ever been given was I was the most authentic person he knew. And so being an authentic person bears a lot of burdens, a lot of weight. It doesn't come across very approachable. It doesn't come across that way, although I'm extremely approachable and I love having fun. The highest compliment I've ever been given is the word mommy. So, that goes without saying. Those of you who are children know what that sounds like, what that means, and you've seen it in action and you said it. So you understand where I'm coming from with that. So I'll go through some things very quickly. If you want me to put the brakes on them and slow them down, then let me know. And then I'll go through some things very slowly. And if you need me to speed them up, let me know that. And of course, if you have questions, then by all means, pause me. Grew up native Houstonian. Grew up on the northeast side and transitioned to the southwest as education would, take over and be important. I from knowledge of Astoria's background and all of that. Cora Street was where my great-grandparents grew up, so I've ridden horses and played outside of the pecan trees and cut the acre and a half of land at 3 and 4 years old because I wanted to be on the back of the tractor so badly. So I helped my great-grandfather do that. I have seen that generation and the subsequent generations of my family and do all the things that little girls do, fishing in a pond that is now sits on top of, now $300,000 home sits on top of that area off of Britmore. For those of you who know where Houston is. And then I learned about crawfish as a bait, not as a dinner. So I didn't understand that transition. And then did all of that to graduate from Bel Air Senior High School in the top of my class, amongst some other people who did the same. Went on to Trinity University in San Antonio, and then transferred to the University of Houston, graduating with a Bachelor's of Science in Economics. Did some things like, boards of directorships and things of that nature, well before 30. And thought that was it. So one of my passions in my life is writing. So I started out with writing poetry just to get through my own life. And then I started writing a novel. And I published those in 2000 and 2002. And so having been published now for well over 20 years, I am at having published 90 ISBNs. That includes ebooks and paperback books. And they can be found wherever books are sold. And I have a publishing company that I assist others with publishing as well. I did something I did two things. One I never saw coming, and one I said I would never do. So of course, be careful when you say never, because that's the first thing that you're on the list of things to do. So there's a children's series in my life. It's called the Nehemiah Character Series. Nehemiah is the name of my son. And so it's the things he's done in his life. Things like I Found the Mud. Things like him and my basketball, me and my football, and just going through what have I learned? How do I transform that knowledge and give it to others? So he's been a part of that character series. And he goes, I said that I did it. I said, yes. And here are pictures. And he goes, oh, not you have supporting evidence. I said, oh, yes. I've been doing this your whole life. So he's now 16 and he's a quarterback at a local high school. And so hopefully we'll do his big things here shortly and soon. I'm on break right now because my basketball, my hooping daughter is in college. And so we're trying to get her to the next level in her scholarship search, but she went to her first year. So I'm the mom of a high school junior and a college sophomore. And I'm just like, woo, okay, here we go. So when they take naps, then that's when I get my own work done. So I just recently put out my latest book. Is called From the Heart of a Woman, The Depth of Her Spirit. And it's a lot of poetry in that book. It's all poetry, but it's a lot of deep and thoughtful, exhaustive pieces that I was like, ooh, it was kind of like the vault. They were in the vault and they missed the first 3 rounds of that process. So their book, that's poetry book number 4. And so it's been very interesting to go back and read some things. I date things when I write, so I can tell you when this happened and what was attached and all of the things. And so it's like you deal with those issues that you talk about with mental health and those things that you say you never grew up out of or you never dealt with when you were younger, and that kind of thing. Those things help you go through that. So, where am I now? So now I am a high school math teacher, author, published author, degree number, in progress of degree number 5. I have an economics bachelor's of science in economics from University of Houston, a master's of business administration from Kaplan University, a master's of education from Lamar University, a doctorate in business from Walden University, and I am in progress of a doctorate of education from North Central University.
Wow.
I don't have an answer for the question in your head is why would she do that?
That was going to be my question, but that is awesome.
Why would she do that?
I was like, when she gonna stop school?
Yeah.
And who does that? And who does that? Because again, some of these degrees are recent and one of them is in progress. So you're like, ooh, you had time today. So
Right.
There are things that you've always wanted to do, and that there's things they're required to get them done. And I want to teach college, and so the doctorate is required to teach college. High school is not necessary. It's a launching pad, but it's not necessarily the place where you put your stake in the ground and leave it there. We have something to do about education. We have to overhaul our system, and it's not made for everybody. And it's not a one size fits all moment. And we are in that moment where we did it, and we discovered its deficiencies during a pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely discovered its deficiencies in the pandemic, and we have to overhaul that spot. So of course, I only set out to write 2 books, a poetry book and a novel, and I was done. I was good, and then things just start happening, and things just start happening, and things just start happening. So the next book is called, it's based on education, and it's called With Bigger Fish to Fry. So that will be the next book that's education related for me. So I think that covers. During the pandemic, I started 2 businesses. So I'm the owner of. I started 3 businesses. I'm the owner of two painting with a twist. Wow. So that is. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. There's one in Humble near you, Astoria. It's in Humble, and the other and the other is in Pearland. So, and I also started a t-shirt business. I always write these things down. It's like, I put this on a t-shirt, what would it say? And so this one says, the opposite of love is indifference. The name of it is Sexy Black Tea.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one that says the square root of 2,500, and somebody said I was mean. I said, I have a calculator. But that's the way people turn 50 years old. So the square root of 2,500 tells your age on your shirt. If they don't know, then they didn't need to know. It's okay. So I did 6. I did the first 6. So that was 3. The other one says, after this, I'm taking a nap. The 5th one says, am I on speaker? And the last one says, maybe I said them all. I don't know. But anyway, there's 6 out currently. And then there's about 75 more to come.
Awesome.
I got a bunch of sayings I want you to put on a shirt.
Let's talk about it.
I got a list. Like, I got like you know how you do notes in your phone? I got a list of stuff.
That's what my list is too. I got it.
Wow, Onedia, your story is just so amazing. I'm exhausted listening to all the degrees, but I am so encouraged. I always say that we're lifelong learners, and I'm just hats off to you. I mean, that's amazing. So
thank you very much. I appreciate that.
We'll be right back with Bet on Black. the women, the family, the legacy. After this message, stay tuned.
Hi, so this is a testimonial for DJ the Money Coach. First of all, I got one of the best packages that you had, so that was A1. I love the team. They have really come through. You were amazing as a coach. Every week you showed up on time. Every single week. And trust me, I've been in a lot of courses, a lot of classes, spent a lot of money. And unfortunately, some people don't do what they say that they're going to do as a coach.
Hello everybody, my name is Terry. I recently just linked up with DJ the Money Coach, and he's been very helpful, gave me a lot of information, told me how I could turn my personal credit into business credit, also showed me how I could pay for a personal vehicle through my business and corporation setup, and also set me up with Melvin to help me actually put together a will, a power of attorney, a Roth IRA.
I definitely would highly recommend DJ the Money Coach. He's very personable. He's actually real. He actually does meet with his clients. You know, I'm happy for that. And he actually has a team that he works with that, you know, that are actually real. They do call people, so they will call you. So that's kind of why I want to rock with DJ the Money Coach.
And I have a question. Since
Yes, ma'am.
you said you want to overhaul education, I have an opinion that the purpose of education is not agreed upon by society. So what do you feel needs to be overhauled, and what is the purpose of education of youth? And I mean that very specifically, and I'll add this one other context. Some teachers feel like education is not to have people get a job. Some would say that it's to help people learn to learn. And another perspective is to teach people how to contribute to society when they're adults. So I'm adding all that to part of what I hope you will add to the purpose of education, since you want to overhaul it.
So let me explain. First of all, Miss Stacia, is that I came into education kicking and screaming. I did not want to teach. I was against the concept, period, because what happened was I was a front row, honor roll, teacher's pet type of answer all the questions, let's move this lesson along kind of kid. Okay, that was me. That was, if you were talking in my classroom, if you were doing something that was distracting the teacher, me and you were gonna get into it immediately. Like, we were not gonna be, stop messing up this. Hey, look, if you don't want to do this, stand outside. I got something, me and the teacher got something. Y'all can all go. The teacher had something to give me, and I need it. My Saturday mornings were spent teaching my dogs on the side of my home. My father had gotten me a book from a teacher's edition math book from somebody, and I and I cherished it, but I held on to it tight. And so I did everything around. I was a retail manager first. I worked for Morgan Stanley as a financial advisor. I worked at a bank. I did a lot of things around. I worked at an insurance company, and so I would not go into teaching. And so then when I got there, I'm like, see, this is why this was not supposed to be my thing. I want to teach at a level where you understand that education is designed to do two things. One, it is to help you contribute to society as an adult. But the other thing is that for us and for our people, for African Americans, it is designed to level a playing field. It's to get you in places and rooms and get you to a level where people are going to respect you. And I just told this to some kids today. I said, I do not care about what you wear, your shoes, socks, pants, where they are located, what your underpants look like, what your hair is doing, how many piercings or tattoos you own and have. I do not care about any of those things, because one day you might wake up and change your mind. The problem is that you won't have anything here to make that look okay. I said, because what I want you to do is understand that if you sit under my leadership and under my tutelage, you're going to open your mouth and shock the world, because nobody's expecting you to say and do the things you're going to say and do. So if you just follow me, I promise you, you won't be disappointed even in yourself. Because again, one of my young men who went to TSU, Texas Southern University last year, I told him, I said, one day some woman is going to woo you out of all of that. The socks and slides and the shorts and hang. She's gonna woo you out of that. She's gonna beckon you out. She's gonna say, come here. But in order to come here, you have to do blah, 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 and blah. And then she's got another hand of things. And you're gonna say, yes, ma'am, okay. But between now and then, I need you to open your mouth, and things that come out of your mind are going to shock the world and go, I didn't expect him to be able to say those things. And you will have walked away with earned respect and a self-dignity that you cannot replace. So that's all I do this for. That's it. That's all I do it for. And every now and again, I say I'm gonna quit. I might not go back in the fall. But if I go back, you can write, she wreaks havoc on the back of everything that has anything to do with my name. She wreaks havoc. We hate to see her coming, and we so glad when she go. Because that's what all I'm going, that's my whole the daily lesson plan is how can I wreak havoc so we can institute change and start a revolution around here, because this is not accessible. It's not okay. Teachers are held to a standard. I'm sorry, teachers are held to a standard of how many kids can fail their class, and they're responsible for every communication. Parents are not responsible for anything. Our technology is such that you can get the grade book on your phone. It can alert you when your child's grades will fall below something. Do you know people are still saying, well, how do you do that? Ma'am, your kid's a senior. What do you mean? How do you not know that by now?
I love when you say you wreak havoc, because I can even go back to my teachers that was very inspirational to us, and the ones that held us accountable for everything that we did and pushed us to limits that pushed us beyond what we even knew that we were capable of doing. And those teachers wreaked havoc. I was scared to be called upon. I was scared to be called into the office, because they set this expectation, and I can name names. They set this expectation, and if we did not meet that, we were held accountable. And yep. And it goes back to parents as well, and it goes back exactly. And that's something that I'm just trying to see how we can bridge that in terms of the parents and getting them. I see a stand, and we see it all the time. You see a stand for athletes with football players, but parent-teacher conferences, no one is there. And so how can we bridge that? How can we get it through to them that their involvement is just like the teachers are accountable, but this is a team here. We have, our main goal is to make the student and the child successful, but we got to work together as a team. So what, as an educator, what have you seen as work, or do you see a change or what? I'm just trying to get your advice on that.
We made a mistake somewhere. At some point in your life, you said, when you were a little girl, you were maybe 12, 13, 14, you said, when I get to be a parent, I'm going to do these things. You made a list. I'm going to do this and this. And so some of these parents made a list and said, I'm not going to parent. They're going to run the house. I'm going to believe everything they say. I'm not going to investigate. I'm not going to spend any time.
I'm going to be their friend.
That too. I want them to like me, and we're going to be friends on social media. See, Onedia Gage did not do that. Onedia Gage said, but again, there's not a lot of me. I had to sit in an administrative conference, and I asked both of the administrators in the room, I said, you all are old enough to remember when we had homework every night from every subject with a backpack full of real books, and you brought those books home every night and you took them back to school every day. Mm-hmm. Where have you all lost it? Where did y'all leave it? Where did you drop it off at? Mm. And they said, I said, no, because I know how both of you are. And I know that you're old enough to have done these things. So tell me why you're trying to let people off the hook. You told me they were busy in the afternoons doing what? What are they doing? What are they busy doing? Because for me, kids have one job. Mm-hmm. Do your homework. Because what I want you to understand is that if you don't do your homework now, I want to ask you, can you ask yourself, can you afford the lifestyle your parents have provided for you? You got out of a Porsche Cayenne this morning at summer school. I must rewind that back for myself. You got out of a Porsche Cayenne this morning at summer school because you failed the class. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Yep, go ahead. Mhm.
So you failed the class. So for me, if you got out of a Porsche Cayenne because you failed the class, can you buy a Porsche Cayenne? What are you gonna do in your life that affords you the opportunity to buy a Porsche Cayenne? Because this is the lifestyle you're used to. So what are you gonna do to get you can't do that for yourself. So I still ask them these questions. How are you gonna manage this process? And why aren't you so again, and if you want to know the truth about it, we get phone calls not about, ma'am, how can I support my kid? How can I, help with this? I see that they have some zeros. The question was, why do they have zeros? Because they didn't turn in their work.
Mm-hmm.
And then the parent said something. I said, sir, let me ask you a question. He said, yes. I said, will we be having this question, this conversation if he didn't have an F? Well, no, ma'am. Okay, well, can you go back and ask him to fix that?
Mm-hmm.
And he got off my phone.
Yeah.
But I promise you, I go through many more conversations about why and what am I going to do about it. That's not my gig. That's not my kid. And so I took it to the next level. I'm that teacher that you should be afraid of to come to school without your homework. That's true. I go through backpacks. When I have parent conferences, I go through your backpack. Give me the backpack. And one particular student, I took the backpack, stack of papers this tall. I sorted them. They were still this high. Even my class and everybody else's. And I told the lady, I said, well, ma'am, this is why your kid is failing. I said, but I do have a question for you. She said, yes, ma'am. I said, look, does this backpack come home every night to your house? Yes, ma'am. Y'all go home together at the same house? Yes, ma'am. I said, well, let me give you permission to go through that backpack so that we don't have to have this conversation again, because I feel like you should have permission to go through the backpack you purchased in the house where you buy the groceries and pay the bills. I said, because I think y'all think his baby has privacy. He does not have any privacy. Take this backpack and ask him if the title on this worksheet and the title on this grade is a 0, then why aren't y'all sitting there together doing the homework? And if you drive a Porsche Cayenne to summer school, you could afford tutoring for your kid.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know why we can't get it right. So again, we need an overhaul.
Mm-hmm.
We need an overhaul because it used to be when you all were growing up, the grade book was on the teacher's desk, and you had to call home because there was no other way to know the grades. But at this point in time, there's no need for that. But here we are.
Yeah, I can agree. I can agree to that too, because I'm a teacher also. You teach high school math, I teach high school English, and I definitely agree that the system needs to be completely overhauled. But
I will never teach English. Good luck with that. I will never teach English.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I do it. How I get through it.
I don't know either.
I have a whole different perspective to ask you though. Like,
okay,
she jumped on, so maybe she should should say, hey. But I have a whole other perspective to ask you on that, because you're in education, and really it's for everybody, because I look at education differently, because I'm on the trade end, not necessarily. I'm on the skill set side, not, I guess the regular curriculum, whatever you want to call it.
We'll be right back with Bet on Black, the women, the family, the legacy. After this message, stay tuned.
I created STEAM, STEAM. It's science, technology, engineering, access, and mentorship. And people might say, well, what happened to the math? Well, to me, it's self-explanatory. If you're going to be an engineer, you got to be good at math in some capacity. How does that translate when you go in these boardrooms with these Fortune 500 companies who just want to take money out of our community? How do you get them to, humanize our experiences and actually give us the value without us having to be validated through their lens? People don't understand, when you start out in business, you got to pay your team first before you pay yourself. I'm gonna say it. You got to pay your team first before you pay yourself, because you're invested in a system. I'm excited about meeting you guys because I think you're stumbling on something that's going to actually dissolve that system and actually make you as the #1 player in the industry? Can you talk to that a little bit?
You know what I can say? I can say that I have chills, right now at 4:19 Central Time, Thursday, March 4th, 2021 in Austin, Texas, hearing you say that. And I actually want to refer back to this clip whenever it is that we, do achieve some milestone like $100 million of gross written premium.
The DJTMC Financial Expert Series is the #1 show featuring the hottest business professionals, working professionals, and entrepreneurs, from the seasoned vets to the rising stars. Email Nick at djthemoneycoach.com if you have what it takes to stand among the greats. Now back to the program. Let's say hi to Cheryl, and then we'll get to your perspective, Astoria. So hi, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm great. How are you all?
Cheryl,
You know,
hi.
I actually got my times. I thought I was dialing in early, but I forgot it's Eastern time. So
That was
my
Stacia.
apologies, because I'm like,
I did
like,
that
oh my
last week
gosh,
thinking
okay,
I was all early and everything. Thank you, Cheryl. I don't
Yeah.
feel so bad.
I thought I was 15 minutes early. I was gonna just chit chat and bring everybody up to whatever. And I said, oh my gosh, they're in the process of recording right now. So my apologies.
Hey, it's all good. You came at a good time. You could fit right into the conversation, and what I'll do next time, I'll make sure I include all the time zones, so no one gets confused or mixed up. So I'll make sure I include Central and Eastern.
Nick, that's the retrograde.
It's so crazy.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. You're right, Astoria.
Right. Take me back to grade school. It's so crazy because I moved from Eastern Standard Time to Central Standard Time. So I used to have to adjust for the Central. And now I have to adjust for the Eastern Time. And I forget sometimes, what time is it? What am I adjusting to? So yeah, I need to go back to grade school.
Yeah. Speaking of grade school, that's funny you mentioned grade school, because we're talking about education. Part of Anita's backstory was talking about education, and shoot, I don't even know if our kids know the time zones now.
now that's true.
Or if they can tell time on a regular clock.
No, they can't, and they can't do any. They cannot do cursive handwriting either.
They stopped that curriculum for a while. Huh?
That's because the teachers don't teach it.
Well, the curriculum doesn't allow that.
The curriculum doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
So.
That's the problem with school system and their curriculum.
They rotate that out. But again, that means parents are not teaching at home either.
Yeah. So Astoria, you had talked about your different an opinion or perspective of education.
Everything that Anita said, I agree with that part. Like, that part's cool, right? But she is sure out of hundreds of thousands of teachers that ain't doing that, right?
Right.
That's my perspective, or what I would ask is, what about the kids that's like me? And so I'm gonna explain what I mean like me. Complete top 10% of my class, took all dual credits. Smartest thing I learned from, I'm an audible person. I can listen to everything you say, repeat everything you say. Diagnosed with ADD, right? Because you don't keep my attention span, right? And which is why I'm more of a creative person. My teachers had to learn to teach me differently, right? But not most teachers are doing that. Now we label you ADD. Now you go with the special behavior kids when nothing ain't wrong with you. It's just that the teacher or the school system doesn't want to take time to teach a child that's like me, right? I'm smart, right? It's not that I'm not smart, that I can't get the work and that I haven't done it. Because most of the time, this is what happened for me in school is, one, the teacher thought that I didn't do my homework, but I had did my homework, showed her the homework, then did the homework, did the work that was before the next person, and I would get in trouble because I had already did it. And she was like, but you talking to the other kids. Well, they need to do their work. I don't know what to tell you. And then the second one, I know, that's why I relate to that part. I got to high school and I was like, man, I'm done taking dual credits. I don't want to take more. I do not want to challenge myself. I am not doing it. I took myself out of the dual credit classes. Like, out of all the honors, was like, I ain't doing this. My senior, I want to do. forget that. I'm already in school. I know I'm going to school, right? Like that kind of thing. And when I got to college, still smart, my mom had to pay me to be on the president's and the dean's list because I was like, I don't want to do it. And here's my reasoning though. I'm a creative, I'm more entrepreneurial spirit. And one thing that my teacher told me that stuck with me my freshman year was B students work for C students. So I couldn't change my mindset after that. I was like, shoot, when I go to school, I don't need to do that. Why am I doing this? Right? So I guess the perspective is one, why the labeling of kids, right? It's got Black men, but anywho, the labeling of kids and putting them in these special behavior classes because they don't want to change them or nurture them the way they should be because we learn differently, right? Because most teachers are like, yeah, no, I'm just not gonna, he bad or she bad. So write up, send home, fail, whatever that is, and then they go down this other path of whatever, right?
Astoria, let me explain right now that you and I would have gotten along great. As you would have been my favorite student, and you'd have been like, "That's my favorite teacher." And no, come here, come stand right here. What happened? What happened? Because here's the deal. I think the ADD came out too late. I think I was ADD, but it's all about you got to keep my attention, and I have all this other stuff happening and going on around me. So I've been you, and I told you I'm the pace of the class. I'm needing you to finish the lesson, and I don't really that talking is not. That's right here, man. And I love to talk. Trust that. So there were some special people who took care of those types of things for me. It's probably why I do what I do. I would have gotten you, and that everybody around you would have known before you say anything to Astoria, you need to clear all verbiage through me. I need it in writing. Come talk to me about your script you need to use. If you can't deliver it right, bring her to me. Bring her and her work over here because that would have been it. I don't label kids. Let me tell you a little quick story. I had a young man who came from North Shore to the school I was at, and they put him in the class, and it was in sixth period. Now, sixth period, that means that particular sixth period geometry class, I had 24 boys and 4 girls. I asked them to move the women out. I said, can you take these young ladies, put them on my schedule somewhere else? You can put them together. I don't care. They said, we can't do, we're not ready. We're not academically prepared to do a single gender classroom. I said, that's what we're going to make about 5 L's. I promise you that. So anytime I got ready, I just put them in the hallway. But this young man came to my class, and I'm sitting in the middle of my room, and I got all kinds of stuff going on around me, but they're working. I got mass, order, chaos, and confusion. That young man stood in the middle of classes. I just can't take this. I have ADD. I said, what do you think the rest of us have? And he was like, but I said, no, I will get your schedule changed. And tomorrow morning, you will be in first period. Trust, I will take care of that myself. I said, however, sweetie, this is the best way for this group of people to learn. If you if you don't do that well, that's fine. I have another place for you. Right. And I did. I moved him. And so when he got the first period, he was like, oh, it's quiet in here. Oh, I said, can you hear yourself think? Can you get yourself situated? Do you get it together? Okay, great. All right, wonderful. Now that we've got it together, now I need your best work. Go have a seat and give it to me right now. I need about before the end of the period, your best work. Let's go. Hustle up. He was like, oh, okay. But Astoria, you're right. You're absolutely correct. It's not a thing. A lot of teachers are running around now checking boxes and checking off things. And did I do the list? And that's an administrative list and a state list and a federal list. They have to do that by federal law to get that. But at some point, you got to clear the table off and just do the work that counts, the work that matters. And if I can tell you that, and I'm not patting me on the back by no stretch, but I'm to the point where I'm invested in my kids at the level where I can hear their voice and close my eyes and know who they are. They can call my name from behind me and I can tell you, such and such, what do you need? And why aren't you in class? You're supposed to be with so-and-so. You're supposed to be, and I know their schedule. I know if they're on my radar, it's called the Gage umbrella. They're under the Gage umbrella. One of my 6th period children invented that. He said, it's called the Gage umbrella. We under there. And that's what she's not. They don't do things. You know, you behave a certain way for certain people, Tonia. You know that. If certain people couldn't tell you, certain teachers, you like, whew, not gonna talk in here. Yeah. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna do her homework first because if I fall asleep, I can get by with the rest of you. I'm that teacher with no, I gotta do her. I got to do her homework. I got to do everything she needs for me to do because I do not want to hear it. I don't want to hear what she has to say, and she's not listening to my excuses. I tell them I run a no excuse offense. One of the reasons why I'm so successful at teaching as well is because the things I know about sports, the things I know about just matters in life. Astoria, you talk about, you know, a trade school and all of that, but I encourage you to do everything. I tell them, I said, go both ways. Go get the traditional education. I can't fault you for that, but go do the things you love. Because those two married together, you are going to be your best you. And I encourage that. Where do you want to go? I tell parents, we're going to this college and you're going to be okay with it. And they're like, let me tell you something. There's a young lady who just graduated. When she calls my phone, she has my cell phone number. She calls my phone. I said, how's my favorite senior? Her mother called me instead of her. And I said, well, how's my favorite senior's mom? And she goes, oh my gosh. I said, but I have to talk to her and encourage her and keep her focused, because if not, she'll derail in her mind. I can't afford that. No. I cannot afford that because I don't have a big enough special to get up. I have to keep her together till we can get where A, step B. But of course, I know every one of my kids. I don't cookie cut them. I don't put them in a silo. I don't put them in a box. I have to deal with them individually as individuals. This is what I need from you. What do you need from me to make you be your best you? And they go back and think about it and come back.
Right. When is the curriculum that you putting together for the new teachers? For the new teachers, all the system, because all of them need that. There's not enough. That was my point. There's not enough. Like I had a teacher that was cool that did that, but there's not enough of you. And I have seen too many, especially have friends that work in, you know, special needs students and stuff, and they be like, this student ain't even special needs. We don't even know why he in this. Exactly. And so that was my point. The label, because you want to check these boxes and all that. And that's what it was. Only a few teachers that stand out that will say, you know what, let me take my kids and do what they do. Most of the teachers, and I'm sure you and Nick both do that, and anybody else that's in education, right? But most teachers are like, no, you got to get out of my class. No, expel them. Now they have a record so freaking long and they're not even bad, right? But school no more. And so then it feeds into that system. That's why I said that system. Like I want to be.
And I agree. Let me tell you too, the thing about the labels and the special ed piece is that some of that is driven by the fact that you, as a parent, if you have a child that's labeled special ed, then you get money. Exactly. That's a supplementary income. Exactly. And it's really but we can't say that because that's illegal. Then once they're under that umbrella, that protective umbrella of the special ed and special services department, you get that. But Astoria, according to the definition, you and I were already special education on the front end. It's a bell curve. The gifted and talented people are in that same department as those people who don't have all the cognitive abilities that we have. It's still labeled. There's a regular group in the middle of the bell curve, and on these two left and right sides, we're in that same umbrella. I said, gifted and talented is under special education. They said, yes. I said, oh, wow, here we go. Yeah. And people don't know that. So again, like I said, it is my desire at some levels to overhaul it. So I'm going to trek that out. Trust I will. I am the dissertation I'm writing right now is on the achievement of African American men and how do we influence that to grow them up in an environment where they can feel like who they are, and whatever that is, they'll be okay with that, and they don't have to sustain themselves under the labels we've given them. Like I told you, that young man, I told him, I said, I don't care. I don't judge you by any of that. I don't care. All of this right here, because the person who I need up here, you can wear that for the rest of your life and still make millions of dollars if you do it right. And it'd be legal and taxable if you do your things you're supposed to do. So I want you to get into that understanding. So they know that that's the level of care that I offer them. They know that this level of investment that I am. A few years ago, I'm about to cry. One of the young men wrote me a letter that said, you saved my life. Oh, man. That's why I go back. Because it's every day I say, whoo, I could do better. I could do more. I could do different. I could spend my time differently. Right. But that is why.
Well, we need more Gage umbrellas. I must say we need more of those. And it's while you and Astoria was talking, it brought back to my mind, my husband. He talked for a little while, and it was this young man that was in that category. And they just kind of threw him away, and they gave him to my husband, and he was what they call a parapro. I don't know if you, whatever. And he was only assigned to him. And basically the classroom or the teacher just couldn't handle his way of learning, and he was labeled as being bad and disruptive. Now, when they gave him to my husband, the intent was not to change him. The intent was to, I just need to check this box saying I'm whatever, and then maybe we can get him into another program so that we don't have to deal with him the next school year, another school. That was their intent. Again, African-American little boy and a predominantly white teaching staff that just could not handle him. So, but my husband, what he did, that was his project. Anything that they wanted, it had to come through him. And he worked on him and worked on him. And that kid became a very good student and was transitioned back into what you would want to say, not that category, but into the norm. But it just took time. They were ready to throw him away. And he was labeled for something, and all he just needed was a little attention and direction. And so again, we need more Gage umbrellas, and I can just see your passion. And the students are so blessed to have you as their teacher. So, because I can see that you really care. So
I appreciate that. Thank you.
We'll be right back with Bet on Black, the women, the family, the legacy, after this message. Stay tuned.
Since meeting you, I have had the pleasure of meeting other people among your team who have given me the knowledge to be able to take my business to the next level. So I'm definitely looking forward to a better year from here on out. So thank you very much for placing those people in my path.
Hello, my name is George Paisley, and I just finished my first initial consultation with DJ the Money Coach. And I have to say, it was very enlightening. I enjoyed it. He hit me to some game. In the first 2 minutes, he told me about a way I could save taxes on next year. So even if I didn't work with him, I left away with that knowledge. To anyone else out there thinking about it, at the very least, take the time, have a talk with him, and let him show you how he can help you live that pom-pom lifestyle.
Stop wishing better, start doing better, and move forward with somebody that has not only the knowledge, the skills, the talent, and the team to help you go where you want to go. I'll get more than my money's worth. If I can spend a few grand, several grand on a piece of luggage, I could spend a little bit to get a lot of it in the long run. So if you're thinking about doing better, stop thinking, start doing, and definitely get down with the pom-pom lifestyle.
Yeah, I think Cheryl wanted to say something. So Cheryl, go ahead and jump in, and then we'll hear from Stacia on this education topic.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I really appreciate teachers, like you, because I also have a teacher. I tried to find her after I was an adult, but she basically saved my life. I mean, for most of my elementary years, I was always I tested several grade levels behind where I should have been, or what they say I should have been, or whatever. And when I got to the 8th grade, they actually put me in a split 7th and 8th grade class because it was the special ed class. And I just feel like, I had been passed on. Nobody really helped me. But this one teacher, her name was Lorraine Woods. I'll never forget her. She, after I moved to her class, probably, it didn't take her a couple of weeks. She told me, she identified what my issue was. She told me exactly what I needed to do. And she launched a plan to help me to improve in my my grades and all. And I think that I'm who I am. I was able to, you know, finish school by the time I was, I don't know, sophomore, junior year of high school. I was in all the honor classes, you know, the AP classes, whatever. And then I went on to college, got my undergraduate and master's. I don't think I would have been able to do any of that or have the confidence to do it if it wasn't for Miss Woods, you know. And I've tried to find her. I've called the Chicago public school system. I called the elementary school where I was from. I tried to find her. Nobody would give me any information on her. You know, back then in the 80s, everything was manual anyway. So I wish I could find Miss Woods and just tell her how she, you know, changed my life. Just giving me that confidence to go to college and to finish school. So, you know, hats off to you for doing that. Now, because of what Miss Woods did, I have a son who just graduated high school 2 weeks ago. And he started out exactly the way I was. And, you know, he always tested, you know, those STAR tests or Iowa tests, whatever they are nowadays. He always tested a little bit lower than, you know, what the school said he should be at. And he had a 4th grade teacher that during teacher conference started telling him and us why he was sitting there about all the negative things about him and how he couldn't do this and he couldn't do that. So I stopped her and I asked my son to go out in the hall, you know, just go right there in the hallway. Let me see you, but go out in the hall. And no, I'm sorry, let me take it back. So I stopped her where she was and I turned to him and I said, do you think mom is smart? He said, yeah. I said, mom's been in college and, you know, been in high school and college, got a couple degrees and everything. Yeah. Mom's got a good job, you know, whatever, you know, dad have businesses. Yeah. I said, I had a teacher that told me all the same things that this teacher is telling you, that you can't do it, that you're not smart, that you're this, that, and I said it right in front of her because I thought, hey, if you gonna tell my little black son, you know, all the negative things that he is and things that he can't do, guess what? I'm gonna tell him in your face that he's smart and he can do it. He's bright, you know, and I just ran down a whole list of all the positives that he had. And then I told him, don't ever let anybody else's negative become your truth. Mm-hmm. And I don't care if it's me telling you that something negative, if it's a teacher or a preacher, anybody who's telling you something that you can't do or that you're not smart or you're not whatever, I said, don't let that become your truth. You let this conversation become your truth, that you are smart, you are this and that and the other. And then she, you know, so then I told him, going outside in the hallway because I want to talk to Miss Kendall over here. And I told him, I just told her, because she was, you know, young 20s. I think this was like her first assignment out of college, first classroom, whatever. I told him, you don't ever tell a student that. And I gave her my backdrop and I said, you know, I just recommend that you, you know, change that approach. You don't sit here and tell a child what they can't do, especially at that impressionable age. So I just, you know, I just appreciate good teachers that take the time to get to know their students, to invest in them as individuals who speak positive in the child's life instead of the negative. Because the system, if you let them, the system will take your children and turn their confidence into failures. And they're at the end of the day, they will think that they won't have the confidence to actually do some of the things that you guys are talking about, even being entrepreneurs, even being creative, thinking that you're smart enough to do those things, you know. So anyway, Cheryl, that's my soapbox.
Yeah. Sure. Just think about it. If you were not there at that parent-teacher conference and you were not involved as a parent, and that is coming into that child, what happen? So I'm so thankful that you were involved and you were there, because that's what happens a lot of times, that the parent isn't involved and that stuff is there and they don't have someone in their corner. They don't always have a Gage umbrella. They don't always have a Cheryl as a parent to be there to tell them what they can do. So that's so important about parent involvement, that you were there to correct that teacher and to encourage your child. And that piece is missing. And that's why it's so much important for parent involvement. I just wanted to add that.
I am concerned. I'm concerned that she said that to him when she wasn't present. That's my concern. Because my question to my child would have initially been, have you heard her say this before? Well, I wasn't here. Has this been going on all this time? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Because this is inappropriate. Because again, I'm that parent. I am actually a parent who says, if my child did not work, please let me know so I can handle that, because they have to come and work. That's their job. They have to come and work. We're not in a place in our lives, and we're not in the country where kids work in fields and grocery stores, and you're not working at my restaurant. You don't work for me. You are to come to school every day and do what I ask you to do. That is your job. You don't want your job, then we can have a different discussion, but you will go to school and you will do your work, and that's what you will do. And so I have a problem with teachers. Your job is to teach. The verb teach means to encourage and share motivation. And that is not your tear down moment. You should not be doing that. But I understand the problem starts with the fact that there's a lot of different problems, but there's the main problem is that so many teachers are discouraged by what we do, because they're serving out of an empty cup. There's dehydration in themselves. So there's no replenishment there. They don't do self-care. They don't deal with their mental situations.
Or they don't
do the things.
This teacher was
so they know.
New. She was new. She was young. She was right out of school, and she didn't know. So, but I was there to teach her, because I launched at that point. I started launching a positive campaign in my son. So, I would talk to him about school and talk to him about his, let me see your grades, let me see this and that. And I started launching, You're Smart type of campaign for him. The other thing I did was, I didn't miss anything up there at that school. I was, and this is a plug for parents just being involved in the school, just being up there. I never missed a concert, a assembly, and a field trip. Since my kids was in preschool, I've been to every field trip. As a full-time working mom, I went to every single field trip. If I didn't go, I sent my mom on a couple of occasions, and I sent my husband on a couple of occasions. But I was always there to make sure I'm watching how my kids are interacting with the teacher, how, if there's a level of respect for my child. Because, hey, my kids went to school. It wasn't a lot of people. It wasn't a lot of faces like theirs in the crowd, in the building. And I wanted to make sure that not only did I represent, my child, but I also represented my race. I just represented Black people. I wanted to see at the table, just to let them know that there are parents, good parents out there, that and there's good families or whatever the case is. And I wanted my presence to be known. Now, this teacher that I'm talking about that did this after I had that conversation with her or whatever, I signed up for another field trip. And she didn't select me to go on the field trip. She didn't. So what I did was I found out what the agenda was. And I decided that it's a public place. We were going to a museum. So I just took off work and went to the museum, and I paid my admission fee in the museum. And I just happened to be looking at the same exhibits as my kid. Now, there was an exhibit where we went to this one museum in Michigan, and they were talking about the coal mining that took place, way back in the day. And so it was really, really dark. You had to go, through this one hallway that was really, really dark. So my son got kind of scared, and he left, I was only a few feet away. He left his group to come just a few feet away and hug my waist. And he was like, Mom, I don't want to go in there. That's kind of scary. Well, a lot of the kids were saying the same thing. So I said, that's okay. I'm here. I'll go with you or whatever. Soon as she saw my son talking to me, she rushed over and she's like, you can't talk with her. You know, you can't interact with him because he's under the, I forget what it was. You know, he's a part of this field trip and I'm responsible for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I said, okay, well, where do I sign him out of school early? See, she wasn't prepared for that. I was like, I want to sign him out of school early today. So how do I sign him out of school? Because I'm his mom. And if he's afraid and I'm here, I'm going to be, well, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, that's fine. But see, if I wasn't a smart, involved parent, you know, then, you know, it was almost like she had an animosity against my son after that, you know. Luckily, it was toward the end of the school year. But my mom also volunteered. I mean, I used to go in there and volunteer and cut up the little letters and stuff. Whatever the teacher needed me to do, I would go in once a month or something like that and work in the classroom. My mom did it, and I had never told her anything about this teacher. And she told me that the teacher spoke to him very harshly. So I had to have another conversation with that. But you know, it was almost like it was a personal vendetta with her instead of her realizing that I was just trying to encourage my son and for her not to kill his spirit. It became a personal vendetta. But I say every parent needs to be involved with their child.
I agree. I think that the problem becomes there's a lot of reasons why, but I hope that they would get better involved at all levels, at the level where, you know, you start at the room mom and you're the team mom or the team dad, and you then work your way out to asking how to better understand what the lesson is and getting all that type of information. I put on Facebook about 2 weeks ago, please go ahead and buy the new math book for the new school year so that you and your child can work ahead together because you have forgotten what they're about to learn. And you're in whatever grade your kid is in, that's the grade you're in, because that's what you're about to relearn and remember. And I, you know, in my first education book, I talk about this. I said, you're in that grade. And some of that is horrible for parents. They're like, oh, I had a horrible high school situation. I'm very sorry about that. We can help you, but I'm very sorry about that. But we're going to, you know, go ahead and make this happen for your kid because your student deserves everything that is great for them and make it happen. And again, like I said, everyone needs a champion and an advocate. And at that point in time, you were that champion and that advocate, and that teacher needed to understand where that baby was coming from and did not necessarily understand. But it's not just first year teachers who have that problem. It's 15-year teachers, it's 30-year teachers who have some of those same issues. You have to have a heart for what you do. And if you're not if your heart is not all in, then you're going to do things that harm and not cause good. So you have to be careful with that. If this is not your gift, this is not your lane, you should move over to the side and yield, or move over where you're supposed to go. You here teaching because you couldn't get your bank job or you waiting on to pass your LSAT. You need to go do something else. You know, they are hiring at Wendy's, at Whataburger, Chick-fil-A. They'll pay you to be the manager at the Soma, at the Chico's. You can do a lot of other things other than harm kids because you're having summers off. Real teachers don't take summers off anyway. Why am I in summer school? I'm here because 450 freshmen failed Algebra 1. And as I told the kids, I said, let me explain this to you as slow and nice as I possibly can. You're here because you need to be. I'm here because you need me to be. I said, and I will give you a little packet to work through, and we just, you know, have freely time all day and just kind of check a box. I said, but sweetie, this is a foundational course that is going to impact the rest of your high school days. If I build your confidence now and build your foundation for what you need to know, and you work with me for these next 11 days, I promise you'll feel better about the process and you can go on and be successful. And no one in the cafeteria has to know what you know. You think that people can see in your brain. If you learn it, no one's going to know but you and the teacher. It's okay. Learn it, be smart, be strong about it, and let's go forward and let's move on. And they're like, okay. I said, I promise I won't tell anybody. I keep it, it'll be between me and you. But you got to do the work because you don't want to keep having these summer situations. You've interrupted the family vacation. Right. Your mother is upset. But we have to work through these things together. And I tell them, I make jokes about it. I make it feel better. I try to encourage them, but it's really you need this information. We have to do it right this time. We didn't do it right the school year. We know you had a bad year, but we still need this information. I just can't give you a packet to kind of work through and kind of check the box and kind of pass you. I need you to have it. I know you don't like it, but you still need it. And so let me give it to you. You respond, but try to retain it. Let me give you some information on how to do that. And let me give you some tips about my colleagues, what they don't want me to tell you. Let me give you their secrets, how you manage them. And let me tell you how to manage you. And then I give out all information because I need you to want it. I need you to go for it. I need you to give it all you have. And I just want them to be able to do it. So, yeah.
Well, this is off topic. So hopefully in your book or whatever, you all can tell me about this new math, because I'm telling you.
The math is not new.
I was thinking the same thing.
That new math, I don't know. I'm an engineer, so I was a math person, but.
Look, we are not doing any new math. We do 4 things in math. We add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Everything after that, I don't know what they try. Let me tell you, I told the kids today, I do not teach math tricks. Mm-hmm. I don't teach keep flipping switch and pop and drive. And can you tell me what that means? You cannot. Okay, then let's sit down. Let me show you how to add it to both sides, subtract from both sides, divide from both sides, multiply. Whatever we're gonna do, we're gonna do it to both sides of the equation. That's what we're gonna do, and that's it. We're not doing all this extra. This is what it is, and this is how we're gonna do it. I told them, I said, let me explain this. The stuff I'm teaching you, I learned in the 8th grade. I have never forgot it. I don't even go home and practice it. That's how much I know about it. Let's go. Let's get it. They're like, oh, I said, no, really, come on. It's it. I'm gonna make this as simple as I possibly can. We're gonna get all that out the way so you can learn, pull all the scales off your eyes. Let's go get this education, because whether you want it or not, I understand, but you need it. It's gonna level the playing field. And more importantly, I would rather you have it and not need it than need it and not have it. My daughter went to college this past year. And I told her before she left home, I said, let me tell you something right now, ma'am. Do not judge other people's children by Onedia Gage and what she did with you and your brother. Don't do that. You're going to hurt your feelings and theirs. Stop. She up there asking people, didn't your mama teach you that? I said, oh, no.
Sound like me.
I said, see, I told you not to go up there and do that to the people. Your mama didn't teach you that? From how to clean, wash clothes, cook, iron, fold clothes.
Thank you.
Cook again. How you in college cooking? Who says that they cooking in college? Now I didn't cook in college. I didn't do that. But anyway,
we talked about that. What were they called? Con Ed classes or whatever? Just classes to help you, life skill type classes. So
I stopped washing clothes after 8th grade. I do not wash their clothes. You can wash mine though. Hey. Go put yours and mine together, wash and fold all mine and yours together. Thank you. I'll be right over here watching that process from over here. Shows you how to do it. I don't need you to do it for me, but I need you to do it for you. She mad because her friends were allowed to play spades and dominoes in college. I said, okay, all right. I taught that too. I taught I was a wide wealth of knowledge. I said,
well, I don't know what school your baby going to, but she needs to come where we went so she can play spades and dominoes.
Astoria, when I get off this phone, I tell her I found somebody for us to play with. She goes, oh, mama, where we going? Because I taught her. Let me tell you. I said, look, I knew how to play with before I got to college because, family events, that was a standard. That was a staple. We did it. But I said, I need you to know how to, because I don't want you to get intimidated. I don't want you to get taken advantage of. I got to teach you this, what we doing at home. I mean, this is, so she got there and said, she said, I got a new deck of cards, everybody. And they looking at her like, we going to play Peter Pan. She said, Peter Pan?
Peter Pan.
Mama, you ain't teach me how to play Peter Pan. I said, that's not necessary. It's not necessary in my life to teach you how to play Peter Pan. I taught you how to play spades.
Let me tell you what my daddy told me. He graduated from college. Oh, Lordy. Red X Hall, because the Red X Hall was the activity building at Jackson State where you played pool, spades, dominoes, and craps. Okay,
that'll get you far.
So when I went to school, I was already ready to take people money. Sorry.
let's
see.
Let's go ahead and let Stacia chime in. We haven't heard from her in a while, so we'll let Stacia chime in.
I asked the first question about education, and this went way into what I was thinking we would discuss. But
well, Miss Stacia, I'm going to get your opinion about this thing. When I kick the rest of this book off, we will meet separately again, or we could just have a session with all of us. It doesn't matter to me, whatever you all would like to do, but to get your further opinion, because here's the deal. Like I said, I'm big on being a game changer. I'm big on making it happen for kids, because it's not about, it's about the kids who don't have anybody, who don't have somebody, who doesn't have an advocate, who doesn't have somebody, who they don't have a gauge immediately right there. They need somebody. I have sat through a number of meetings where I've had to stop the meeting and go, wait, the kid have problems we haven't addressed, so we're not going to stop. We're going to do that. We're going to deal with the kids, the problems that they have. And it's always a thing to me, like, how did you not deal with the real issue that we're having here? We had issues with a young lady who, she was not behaving. She was giving an attitude. And I said, I don't have those problems out of her. So everybody went first with me. And they talked about what she wasn't turning in, her attitude, her blah, blah. I said, okay, fine. I listened. And she sat next to me, as a matter of fact, in the meeting. And when they got to me, I said, there was a man at the end of the table. I said, sir, I was here on time and I did not miss introductions. But who are you? You didn't introduce yourself. Who are you? He said, I'm the uncle. I said, and is that by birth or by marriage? He said, well, I'm the uncle by marriage. I said, well, where's the aunt? That's by birth. She's at work. I said, well, let's ask the real question. Where is her mother? And he said, well, her mother passed away. I said, this changed the whole situation. I said, sir, please explain to me why no one knows. Now, mind you, I'm not looking at him anymore. I'm looking at down this other end of the table where the counselor and the assistant principal. I said, well, why don't we know this information about her? I said, because the things she's going through and the attitude she possibly has is because when you're an English teacher, you're reading stories about families, and she doesn't have a traditional definition. And history teacher, whoever they heard that, I said that if she's standing around kids who says my mother's bringing me lunch and I want to call my mother and my mother just texts me, she can't say those things. So she goes into a place that we cannot access because we didn't know that. And that's why she's in my classroom calling me mama. Now we know. I said, so everything you all said just went in the trash can. Thank you all for all those prolific speeches you just gave. All that's in the trash can. If you have any further trouble, she can be found in my room. Bring her work to me. We're not gonna get out of the work, but she's gonna have it in a different place. Number two, we're gonna get some counseling because she needs some help. She needs to talk to somebody. Y'all tell us next time this happens, and we gonna get this straight, everybody. I said, let's go, Brandy. We walked out, and they were like, I said, because this is not for us. Y'all need to, the logistics stuff, y'all need to figure it out because we going to our safe place because this was ridiculous. We should have known this before. Sir, did y'all not think we should have known this before we got started, counselor? Y'all didn't coordinate, get all that worked out. We're going to go, though, because I need to make sure she okay because this right here was ridiculous. She had sat there quiet the whole time, didn't say a word. I said, baby, you okay? Why you didn't say nothing? Why I didn't know? You didn't say. So that's the kind of stuff we are dealing with our kids as well. They have things we don't know anything about. We can't fix those things. And after we got through that point, and I taught to each of her teachers on how to deal with her, talk to her, read the signs on her face, and do all that kind of stuff, there was a whole different. She blossomed, got on the dance team. Oh my gosh, she did so much greatness. I was like, see, we just had to use the key to unlock the door. Here it is. See all this greatness oozing out and just flowering over everybody. What are we doing? They were like, oh, yes, ma'am. From that day on, I was like, look, when she give you attitude, see me. Before you give them attitude, come see me. Can y'all agree to all that? Okay, great. Like I said, we left. We walked out. There's no more time for that. She needed to have a safe space, and that was no longer that space. And I was like, I can't. But there has to be a point where we figure those things out. So we have to do some things. We have to change the curriculum to accommodate some things. African-American history in Texas just got to be an elective that can replace another history class. But why is it not mandatory? Why does it have to be separate? Because we can't be included in the books properly. They got this editing skill that edits us all the way out. So that's a different problem. But we've got to do some things. We got to make those things right. Stacia mentioned that we didn't talk about the athletic thing. Do you want us to go to that athletic thing now, Nick?
Oh, well, we're kind of running late on time. We might have
to
continue that next
we'll get
week.
That. We'll get that. We have plenty. We'll always have plenty to talk about.
Oh yeah, plenty. Yeah, yeah. So I let Stacia have the last word on the education piece, and then we'll close out. We'll be right back with Bet on Black, the women, the family, the legacy. After this message, stay tuned.
The team, the DJTMC team, has created a financial plan for me, created a policy wherein I can create wealth for my great-granddaughter, who's 7 years old now. And because I didn't have these documents in place, I'm getting assistance with my will, power of attorney, and all of the documents that you would need to ensure that your policy, that your estate will be executed as you desire it to be done. I strongly recommend the DJTMC team.
You're looking at a satisfied customer. If you're like me and you have had problems with credit, you don't know enough about how to manage credit, you don't have enough money to invest in the stock market or set aside for retirement, then I encourage you to give DJ the Money Coach and his team a call. He has helped me, and I'm sure he'll help you. Shout out to Erica Williams for having DJ on your show.
Well, I'm just looking forward to talking about our awareness of education and where we educate. We educate in any place where we are, where we influence other people. And just hearing all of the wealth of resources, knowledge, and experience here on this call, then I know we're going to be okay, because we're going to solve it. We're going to have that revolution, and we're going to march smartly and change the world. Wreak havoc, as Onedia talked about us today. We're going to wreak
The
some
revolution
havoc.
will not be televised.
But I'm gonna put it on social media though.
We got to tell people this one though. That's it.
Exactly.
But thank you. I'm excited to share with all of you.
I am too. Thank you for involving me and inviting me to the group.
Oh, quite welcome. We're glad to have you. So as everyone can see, this is going to be a powerful panel. With some powerful and real issues, coming from real Black women. So why don't we go ahead and close out? Each of you take about a minute, minute or two to close out with, what you took away from this conversation, and go ahead and promote yourselves. Get your names out there. We all have our businesses and things going on, so go ahead and promote yourself during your closeout, and then we'll say good night to the people. So
I will say I actually almost closed out, so I'll just add I'm Stacia Robinson with the BeneChoice companies.
All right. Onedia, why don't you go ahead and go next, since we centered on you this evening. You can go ahead and close out.
Well, first of all, thank you all for having me in this gregarious conversation full of wealth of wisdom and knowledge. And I appreciate you all with the feedback, and I appreciate the compliments that you all bestowed upon me tonight as well. I just get up every day and try to do what it is I do best. As far as the business is concerned, well, there's all of them. But the books can be found anywhere books are sold, so Amazon, BarnesandNobles.com, OnediaGageSpeaks.com, so anywhere they are. So let me know if you need anything.
All right, let's go. Well, I'll go to the right of me. All right, go ahead, Tonia.
Well, I must say that I truly enjoyed this topic in terms of education, and also getting a backstory of Anita. Awesome. We need, again, I'm going to keep saying, gauge umbrellas around us, and we need to be advocates for our children, because if we're not advocates for them, who will be? So again, Tonia Archibald with Great Lakes Property Management Group. If you have any property management, buying, selling, whatever in terms of real estate, definitely give me a call. You can visit my website at www.greatlakespmg.com.
right, Cheryl, you're up next.
And I am just getting my editing business together. So if you have future books that you need an editor for, the editing company that the name that I chose is Behind the Scenes Editing. So I'm don't have a website right now for you, girlfriend, but if you're looking for an editor for any future projects, give me a holler. I enjoyed the conversation today, although I was an hour late.
No problem, man. We're just glad that you were able to come on, and yeah, that might be some possible work or some business Cheryl and Onedia can do together. You know, the author, you know, maybe you missed that part, but you know, we have the author and the editor here. So yeah, so that's a possible business, a possible connection there. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, Queen Astoria. Go ahead, take it home.
Y'all gotta put me last, huh? Well, I'm just gonna say I enjoyed the conversation. I cannot wait to like really dig in. We only three episodes in, 4?
Yeah, number 4, yeah.
I'm just like lit, okay, ready. And for sure, me and Onedia, I'm coming over to play Spades, girl. We're gonna have our own little thing happening. So you can find me on social media. It is Queen Astoria on Instagram. Miss Story. So MS_STORI. Side note, my Facebook got hacked. I don't know if I'm gonna get it back, but you know, it's all good. I had it for 15 years. I guess retrograde said it was time for it to go bye-bye. So whatever. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Twitter, Miss Story. On Monday nights, you can catch me on Instagram Live doing Money Mondays. And so if any of you ladies want to come on, you are definitely welcome to come on. We talk about money from a family point of view, basically, like more so of just open conversation of us talking about money.
So make sure you tune into our weekly programs, Medical Mondays, Astoria Story, Bet on Black, the men's edition, Bet on Black, of course, the women's edition, Nick's Knowledge and Notions, our weekly webinar series on Wednesdays. Thank you, Onedia. Thank you, Tonia. Thank you, Stacia. Thank you, Astoria. Thank you, Cheryl, for coming on here and sharing your perspectives. And thank you to shout outs to DJ, the money coach, the team captain of the Seven Spheres. So we wish everyone a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and we want you to come join us on the beaches of the World Club. So until the next episode of Bet on Black, the women, the family, the legacy, take care, and we will see you soon. Good night.
Hi, I'm DJ the Money Coach. Don't touch that dial. You want to become financially independent? You want to have consumer debt freedom? You want to have passive income, learn how to build a business, acquire real estate, and achieve the lifestyle you deserve in 2021? Well, hit that link below right now. We've worked with over 20,000 people in the past 2 decades, helping them become consumer debt free, increase their credit scores by 30 to 60 points in 30 days or less, and help them acquire businesses through real estate, taxes, and a network of experts just like me. So you'll get a complete 3-hour, 18-module course called Family Finance 101 that'll teach you A to Z how to become consumer debt free, credit worthy, and it puts you in position to become a certified entrepreneur. We'll also give you a complimentary consultation with me that's a $500 value. Why would you want to do that? Because I have already achieved that, and I can help you achieve your American dream in 2021. Hit the link below, get the free webinar and the complimentary consultation, and I'll see you soon and wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money and peace of mind. Come join us.
Toledo Organic Tequila is so crisp, so incredibly smooth, it's simply in a category by itself. This is luxury. Life tastes better naturally, so should your tequila. This is Toledo. Enjoy responsibly. Visit ToledoTequila.com to get your bottle of Toledo Organic Tequila. Get a 10% discount on DJ the Money Coach by entering promo code MONEY at checkout. Again, that's ToledoTequila.com, promo code MONEY to get 10% off your Toledo purchase.